Paris Saint-Germain just won the Champions League. Again. And I need you to understand something. This should not have happened. By every logic, every expert opinion, every transfer market analysis from 2 years ago, this PSG team should be mid-table in French football by now. No Mbappé, no Messi, no Neymar, no superstar, no chance. That's what they said. So, how did a club that spent 15 years and billions of euros failing in Europe suddenly become the continent's most dominant force the moment they stopped buying superstars? That's exactly what we're going to decode today. Let's not sugarcoat it. For over a decade, Paris Saint-Germain were the biggest joke in European football. Not a small joke, a spectacular, expensive, humiliating joke. They assembled the most valuable squad in football history. Messi, Neymar, Mbappé, three of the greatest players of their generation, in the same team, in the same city, wearing the same shirt. The rest of Europe was terrified. This was supposed to be the team that finally ended Real Madrid and Barcelona's stranglehold on European football. Instead, first knockout round eliminations, bottle jobs, memes, a team full of egos that couldn't agree on who should take a free kick, let alone win a Champions League. Messi looked like he'd never played football before. Neymar spent more time injured than on the pitch. And Mbappé, the one player who actually showed up, eventually looked at the chaos around him and said, "Enough, I'm going to Madrid." The project was dead. Everyone agreed. Move on. Then Luis Enrique walked in and he said something that no PSG manager had ever dared to say out loud. "I don't want superstars, I want footballers. No passenger gets a shirt, no ego gets a pass. You press, you run, you suffer, or you don't play." It didn't matter who you were, what you earned, or how many Ballon d'Or nominations you had. Enrique's PSG had one currency: work rate. The football world didn't just doubt this, they laughed at it. PSG without superstars, in Paris, the city that invented the idea of glamour football, this was career suicide. This was a coach setting himself up for the sack before Christmas. But something strange started happening. Players who were written off elsewhere started thriving. Dembele, the man Barcelona fans could not wait to get rid of, once a walking injury list and a professional disappointment, suddenly became unplayable. Kvaratskhelia, brought in from Napoli, terrorised every defence in Europe. João Neves and Vitinha built a midfield so suffocating that top teams could not breathe against them. Nobody bought it, right up until they could not ignore it anymore. Here's where it gets serious, because what PSG just achieved isn't just impressive, it's historically rare. Since the first European Cup in 1956, only a handful of clubs have ever won it in back-to-back seasons. Real Madrid won 5 in a row in the 1950s, Benfica won in 1961 and 1962, Ajax won 3 straight in the early 70s, Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, AC Milan, Real Madrid again. From 2016 to 2018, PSG just joined that list. And they did it as only the second club to win back-to-back Champions Leagues since the competition was rebranded in 1992. The first was Real Madrid, the most decorated club in the history of the sport. But here's the detail that will blow your mind. PSG only won their first ever European trophy last season, after decades of failure, after all those billions. Their very first one, and then they immediately defended it. Most clubs spend their entire existence chasing one. PSG got their first and second within 12 months. And now the question nobody wants to answer honestly: does this change how we talk about PSG forever? Because football fans love to hate PSG, and honestly, for years they were right to. The project was grotesque. Buying your way to glory, failing spectacularly, repeat. It was everything wrong with modern football, but this version, this team, is different, and that's what makes it uncomfortable for people. You can't call it a checkbook project when the checkbook didn't build this team. You can't call it soulless when Marquinhos, the last man standing from the chaos years, is lifting the trophy with tears in his eyes for the second time in a row. The most hated club in European football just became one of the most interesting stories in European football, and nobody prepared for that plot twist. PSG didn't just win the Champions League tonight, they made history, and they did it by doing the one thing their critics never expected. They stopped trying to buy it.